Hello, this is Mechanico and welcome to my channel and welcome to my first video of Sherlock Holmes, maybe more. We shall see. New game. I had a quick look before. Nothing. Oop. Just remember not to press any key, I sort of skipped the first video. Focus Interactive. Testament of Sherlock Holmes. Turned off the subtitles because I find that annoying. Okay, I gave it a test before and just pressed a button by accident and skipped all this, so I'll keep my fingers off the keyboard.
Yeehaw.
Intro movie. This is 18th century London. I've not played, there's quite a few of these Sherlock games, evidently. And it's up on Steam for £6 and I thought, let's go, let's jump. So obviously it's more like a point and click. So, puzzle solving, probably not my best feature.
Ah! What's this? No.
Is that what's on the puppet?
La la la. Ah. Ooh. Oh, look! It's a book! Maybe it's a book about pirates with a treasure map.
Bit of an odd opening movie.
No, I don't think so.
Sound almost seems out of time with the
I wish that I had seen through all your lies. Oh, start from the beginning, not the middle. And so I decided to pick up my pen to relate the most disturbing episode of my life thus far.
It all began early one morning in 1898, when Sherlock Holmes invited me to accompany him on a visit to the Marquis of Conyngham.
Marquis of Conyngham Hall. Now, is this guy based on... He looks like Colin Dexter to me.
Watson,
Sure
my dear
he
fellow,
is.
we can now go and inform the Marquis that we have found the Samoan necklace, and very much faster than Inspector Baines, too, which pleases me.
Have you really solved the theft, Holmes? And so quickly?
I have indeed, Watson, and believe me, it was completely unnecessary to spread out all over London, as our friend Baines thought was best. He likes to boast that his methods are equal to mine, but once again the outcome has contradicted him.
After all these years of accompanying you upon your investigations, I thought that by now I should be reasonably capable of following your train of thought. But in this particular case, I must admit that I don't understand anything at all.
Ah, you see, but you do not observe, Watson. There lies the difference. It is a matter of course.
A matter of course, in the middle of the night, when everyone is fast asleep, the service bell within that room rings out and alerts the servants. They dress quickly and come running, but the door is locked and there is a strong smell of burning from within. A few seconds later, the master of the house himself, the robbed Marchioness's husband, the Marquis of Conyngham, arrives and unlocks the door using the sole key. A fire has started inside the room, but they have managed to arrive in time to put it out. It is at that moment that the Marquis realizes that the famous Samoan necklace, which had been safe within its glass cabinet only a few hours earlier, has now disappeared.
In order to explain, let us confirm my theory before the arrival of Inspector Baines.
So you control Sherlock Holmes. So look around, use a mouse. What's that? Oh. Look at the broken showcase and click on it. Oh, some click in the corner there, scrolling the mouse. There we go.
This window was cut with a diamond. A clean, discreet piece of work. This is where the necklace was.
See how tiny the hole is, and not one fingerprint upon the window.
How would you know unless he's dusted it? So I've got magnifying glasses, a magnifying glass and a mantelpiece. Oh. Stolen dowry, the Marquis' room. So that's text of what's gone so far. Nothing in that. Stolen dowry, inventory. So after a clue is examined, the icon will turn green. Please move Sherlock Holmes near the left window. Validate. Choose.
All the windows are locked. They've not been forced. A mark undoubtedly made by a diamond. Someone tried to cut the glass, but he was interrupted.
Therefore, the thief tried to escape through the window, but he was interrupted.
Why would a thief try to cut a hole and then climb through a little hole like that out the window? That's stupid. Go to the chimney, you'll see a hand icon on the magnifying glass. Take it by clicking on it. You can open your inventory by clicking the right mouse button while playing. You cannot activate any of your items from your inventory by rolling the central wheel of your mouse. Near the piano, some music scores on the floor. You can activate by selecting.
Let us examine the crumpled scores that have fallen off the piano.
So, look for clues.
Let us examine the crumpled...
How do I get my inventory up again? Magnifying glass. Scores near the piano.
I need something.
So I've got the right item then.
Let us examine the crumpled scores that have fallen off the piano.
Oh, there it is. Sitting there, look, in the right hand corner.
Nothing of interest here. Nothing of interest here.
Nothing of interest here.
Nothing of interest here. These sooty prints were left by a tiny hand.
Oh, there it is. Oh, what did he say? Press R or middle mouse button. Oh, so I'm in first person. Oh. Oh, right. So we have that view, third person, first person, and isometric. That is cool. Liking that. Press and hold shift to make him run. Oh, I've got to do this before it gives up. Okay. Activate Sherlock Holmes' sixth sense. It will show you a hint not yet discovered.
A candle. It must have fallen from the chandelier. A candle. It must have fallen from the chandelier. Not very well kept, this aquarium. I can see a dead fish floating on the surface.
Thought I was clicking on the candle, actually. Let's go back into isometric.
A candle. It must have fallen from the chandelier. Not very well kept, this aquarium. I can see a dead fish floating on the surface.
So it's just a case of, well, it's like a point and click, isn't it? Just a point and click.
When the servants arrived at the door, having been alerted by the bell, they saw evidence of the theft and the fire, but they didn't see the thief.
This door is very hard to force. The Marquis is the only person to have the key. The thief could not get out through here until eventually, when the door was opened by the servants.
Why would a Marquis lock an internal door?
These documents are not very interesting, even though they're addressed to the Minister of Maritime Affairs.
The Marquis himself.
So we've got a fallen
Strange.
statue.
There are some objects here that have been knocked over. Strange. There are some objects here. The chest wasn't opened. The necklace wasn't in it.
This window was cut with a dart.
See how tiny the...
Right.
Footprints. You are not going to get on your knees to examine them.
There is no need. It is soot. The servants must have trodden in it while they were putting out the fire.
Footprints.
There is no need. All the windows are locked. All the windows. A mark, undoubtedly made by a diamond. Someone tried to cut the glass, but he was interrupted.
Therefore, the thief tried to escape through the window, but he was interrupted.
Cut a hole in the window with a glass cutter to escape. Especially a sash window. You're just going to smash through it, aren't you, if you're going to escape. There's no point in cutting a little hole like that, unless you're this tiny person. Alright, let's go back into first person mode, see if we can see anything. It looks nice, this game.
What do you think, Holmes?
Let us search the room before the police get here. We might throw some light onto all this.
It's just a case of finding every last
Heading
clue.
towards his chosen escape route, probably the window, the thief knocked over the stool, which then caught fire.
But why didn't he try to put the fire out at once?
Because he was getting out.
Straight. The chest wasn't opened. The necklace wasn't in it. All the windows are locked. They've not been forced.
Gotta search every inch. So we looked at them. There's another one to look at. Beyond here? No. I'm stuck already. We've done that. So, thief came in, nicked some jewels. I tried to knock that over, set that online, knock them over.
The fire started here, just beneath the bell pull.
Whoever pulled the cord would have had his feet in the fire, unless it was pulled before the fire started. These documents are not very...
The Marquis himself.
A candle. It must have fallen from the shadow.
Right. I'm clueless. I've looked at that. So if he didn't get out, and how did he escape then? Did they find him in the room when he come, or she? What happened? What must I press?
All the windows are locked. They've not been forced.
Can't see anything else. I'm missing something. It's good that it's got different modes to view. Like that. Does he run when I double click? Yep. Jog, Holmes, jog. Who'd have thought Sherlock Holmes jogging? Alright, you can leave comments in the comments section and say I'm a dumb fuck. Because I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, there's a dead fish there. I wanted to...
Not very well kept.
yes, we know. The fish is dead. Nice paintings. Where do they get the rights to the paintings if they can't be originals done for the game? They must be using somebody else's art. Interesting. The game companies are using...
What do you think, Holmes?
Let us search the room before the police...
Yeah, alright. I can't get out.
When the servants arrived at...
This door is very hard to force. The
Right. So... we're in a conundrum. Candle on the floor, fell out there. Why? Why did the candle fall out of there? That's the question. That's the only question I'll think of. Why is there tiny handprints? Why are there tiny handprints on there? It's not going to let me select that again. Oh. That's a bit odd. I had a magnifying glass, now it's gone. What's happened to my magnifying glass? Oh, I see. It's just that's that one. There's that one for the bell cord. Choose.
The fire started here.
Whoever pulled the... The chest wasn't opened. The necklace wasn't in it.
So... hold on.
This draft screen makes an ideal hiding place.
As the theft was committed at night, I conclude that the thief hid himself behind the draft screen and waited until he was alone in the room.
the room. Right.
Strange. There aren't any prints. Yet I'm sure that the thief hid here.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. You're already here.
Good morning, Inspector. You've arrived just in time.
Scotland Yard arrives like the cavalry, always in the nick of time. Ah, but I know that satisfied expression, Mr. Holmes. Have you already solved the case?
It's possible.
We have retraced the thief's rather unusual footsteps. He is a true acrobat. But what I cannot understand is that when the servants entered the room, there was no one to be seen. An acrobat, perhaps, but an invisible one? I do not think so.
The only explanation is that the thief escaped before the servants arrived. I don't know how, but there is no other way.
Half a point for the doctor, nil for the inspector.
I am pleased to see that you find the situation amusing, Mr. Holmes. Very well, then. Explain.
Dr. Watson was correct when he mentioned acrobatics, but he is mistaken about the nature of the acrobat. As for you, Baines, you're quite incorrect, as the thief was in the room when the servants entered.
Explain, for heaven's sake, Mr. Holmes.
Watson, how could a thief be missed in the middle of 8 men?
I don't know. Because he is very small? Stop teasing us, Holmes.
Exactly, because he is small and remarkably agile.
You're thinking of a monkey?
And a trained monkey at that, without a doubt, a Leontopithecus rosalia from Central America. The animal had been hidden inside the room for several hours, calmly awaiting the signal from his master. Once night had fallen and the room was empty, a high-frequency whistle alerted the monkey that it was time to begin the procedure for which he had been trained. The monkey emerged from his hiding place and used the point of a diamond to open the glass cabinet and steal the necklace. He headed across to the window by the chimney, but knocked over the stool, which in turn knocked aside the fire guard and started the fire. The frightened monkey jumped from the chimney by swinging from the bell pull, thus alerting the house servants. He then went to the window and began to use his diamond to cut a hole, but was interrupted by the staff trying to gain entry via the door, and he panicked again. He ran across the piano, scattering the music scores onto the floor, before hiding inside the chandelier, knocking over a candle. Finally, the servants and the Marquis entered the room, leaving the door open while they put out the fire. It was during the confusion that our agile little thief made his escape through the doorway. As simple as that.
A brilliant explanation. Bravo, Holmes.
And the necklace?
I can see it from here, my friends. It's right in front of us.
We have searched the room from top to bottom, Holmes. How were we unable to find it?
Because we paid insufficient attention to the only victim of this affair.
What victim? No one is dead?
Yes, Watson. A poor goldfish whose destiny was to die, crushed by one of the most precious necklaces in England.
The aquarium is just beneath the chandelier. I understand.
The little monkey had likely hung the necklace around its neck and lost it when he leapt from the chandelier. The jewels fell into the aquarium, where they remain now.
He'll roll up his sleeve. By God, Holmes.
Marquis, here is your necklace, intact, just a
Elementary.
little wet.
Mr. Holmes, this brilliant demonstration does credit to your reputation.
Well, thank you so much, Marquis. Do you wish to verify the authenticity of your jewel?
No, I recognize it. I have spent many hours admiring it, you know.
Good. I will return it to its box and...
Inspector, a bank has just been held up. You must follow me at once. Orders of Scotland Yard.
What times?
Sirs, duty calls. My regards, Marquis. And well done again, Mr. Holmes.
There, the necklace is in its box. We've lost enough time here. Let's go home, Watson.
Ah, very well, as you wish. A good day to you, Marquis.
With pleasure, gentlemen. And once again, thank you.
Yeah, so. It's all rather elementary. That was elementary, wasn't it? I mean, basically you had to click on everything in the room. Puzzle was solved. It's a question of finding everything.
This morning's newspaper. Holmes, have you read this article about you?
No, Watson, not yet, and I won't have time to.
Read it before you leave. It's outrageous.
If you insist.
Read the paper, Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes at the home of the Marquis of Cunningham. The investigation is a fiasco yesterday. Yesterday, the celebrated detective Sherlock Holmes was invited to the manor of the Marquis of Cunningham to supply his conclusions following his investigation into the disappearance of the priceless Samoan necklace. It should be recalled that the lady called in the detective after the police appeared flummoxed in the face of astonishing circumstances surrounding the theft. Right. And what we're supposed to glean from that, mister? This necklace is a fake.
Prince Woodville, French culinary expert and bagpipe player, might be our next king. That's not so shocking, my dear fellow.
You know exactly to which article I'm referring, Holmes. How can Farley dare to tarnish your reputation like that?
You know, Watson, that wherever glory walks, jealousy is bound to follow. As for the forgery of the necklace, I suspect that we shall soon be enlightened in this regard. Come in, Inspector Baines, the door's open.
Is that door sound again?
Ah, Mr. Holmes. How did you know I was here?
You are one of our rare visitors who avoids the second-to-last step of the stairs, which creaks dreadfully. And if I add the clinking of the handcuffs at your belt, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit, Inspector?
Have you read that rag?
Slander necklace.
Inspector, can you explain this slander? Has the necklace of the Samoas really been replaced by a fake?
I don't know how the reporter got hold of the information, but it's true. About the necklace, of course. I wouldn't permit myself to question the integrity and honesty of Mr. Holmes.
The necklace is a forgery? Impossible! I saw the Marquis authenticated before my very eyes, before Holmes returned it to its place.
Mr. Holmes, the Marquis believes Osmond Farley's theory. I shouldn't be surprised if the reporter isn't behind all this slander about you. He's a freelancer, well known for his explosive and subjective articles. In any case, the Marquis assures us that you were the last person to have the necklace in your hands.
Let's return to the Marquis's house, Holmes. I'm sure that we'll have no trouble in taking apart this theory.
It is unnecessary. Such allegations collapse on their own, like one of Mrs. Hudson's soufflés. Let us leave the police to solve this problem and turn our attention to the matters in hand.
Perhaps you are right, Holmes.
Necklace.
Inspector, I assume that you have the fake necklace with you. It's why you're here. Your superiors would like me to examine it.
Indeed. They would like you to confirm or deny putting this fake in the box.
Can't that wait? I must go to the house of Lord Peregrine Maitland, the Bishop of Knightsbridge.
Marchioness.
And the Marchioness?
She is beside herself. Without the necklace, her marriage is compromised. It is the principal item of the young woman's dowry.
What a lovely marriage.
Examine.
Holmes, forgive me for insisting, but don't you want to examine the fake jewellery?
Watson, I have an appointment, and it's out of the question that I arrive late.
It will only take you a couple of minutes. You really must quell the suspicions put forward in this appalling article. If you will allow me, Inspector?
Be my guest.
Very well.
If I Validate. Choose cancel.
What do you think, Holmes?
Crash. Oh, there we go. I thought we crashed there for a minute. It hung.
What do you think, Holmes? What do you think, Holmes?
What do you think, Holmes?
Find out if the necklace is it authentic or not. No, look, there's a nasty bit.
This pearl is a different colour. These 3 pearls are of poor quality.
Oh, God.
These 3 pearls are of poor quality.
That's enough
This
evidence.
pearl is too small. It is not in its place here. Too many defects. This necklace is a fake. This is nothing but a vulgar copy, and at a glance it would appear that the forger has intended for it to be seen as such.
How could we have been fooled by such a blatant imitation? I don't understand.
Yes, how is it possible? Holmes, do you have a theory about this?
I have absolutely no idea. You insisted that I examine the necklace, and I have done so. Now it is important that I keep my appointment. I'm sure, Inspector, that you will throw some light on this affair.
Holmes.
You may accompany me, Watson, if you care to do so.
Goodbye, gentlemen. I'll keep you informed as to my inquiries.
Goodbye, Inspector. You mentioned a bishop, didn't you? Are we going to his home?
Yes, the Bishop of Knightsbridge. I put his address on our map of London on my desk. Would you get it for me, please?
All right, Holmes.
You control Dr. Watson. So we're looking for a map on the table. It's not on the dinner table, it's probably over here. Choose.
The work table, where Holmes analyses things. Holmes's homemade analyzer.
Where he makes his drugs. Is that the map?
I have found your map.
Diocese of Knightsbridge. London. Londinium. No, we're already in London. To the Diocese of Knightsbridge. 2 shady looking characters. Aha.
The police? Already? How did you know?
May we see the Bishop of Knightsbridge?
Yes.
Fabulous.
Yes, of course. But come in.
What has happened, Reverend?
Never trust a priest.
What?
I don't know. It was last night, I think. I only just arrived, and I have made this macabre discovery. My God. How horrible. I haven't called anyone. How did you know that?
Holmes, look!
The Bishop, appallingly mutilated.
How dreadful.
Mutilated. And killed. He was such a good man. How could anyone be so brutal? Look at him. He is barely recognizable now. How could any of God's children be responsible for that?
They were evidently unworthy children, Reverend. Now do please try to calm yourself and focus, because we will need your assistance. Do you have any idea as to the motive behind this?
I haven't had time to do an inventory, but nothing appears to have been stolen. And anyway, His Excellency didn't own anything of great value. I don't know what else I can tell you.
Note this down, please, Doctor.
Doctor? But you aren't the police?
No, Reverend. I am Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. Watson. We are here at the request of the Bishop.
In that case, I must ask you to leave, and not to touch anything. I must get in touch with the authorities without further delay.
Reverend, when the inspectors of Scotland Yard find themselves at a dead end, which they quite often do, I assure you, then they turn to me for help. If you will allow us to continue our investigation, then you shall have the answers to all of your questions.
Out of the question! I don't even know you! I'm going to call the police, whether you like it or not.
It would be better for everyone, Reverend, if you kept your temper. Watson, are you taking notes? This affair promises to be a complex one, therefore we must not overlook the slightest detail.
Yes, Holmes. I am keeping a meticulous set of notes. I have created a very clever deduction board. One thing we can be sure of at the moment is that this crime was not for gain. The Reverend has informed us that nothing valuable was stolen, and indeed it would seem that the Bishop had nothing of any worth to take.
Very good, Watson. Do continue.
Bishop of Knightsbridge murdered. Make the right... What's it say? Make the what? Didn't owe anything of value, not even in his safe. Deduction, Knightsbridge. We are not the police. Keep your temper. Right. You control Sherlock Holmes. Oh, what's that? Elementary. Discovered the Samoan necklace. Well done. Right. Oh, there's a lot of magnifying glasses here.
The fingers have been crushed and violently struck.
Lovely.
The fingers have been crushed and violent.
His stomach is covered in scratches. Quite evidently, they weren't made recently.
So, these wounds were not made by his murderers.
Missing a tooth.
You can see by his expression that he suffered terribly.
His mouth is covered in blood, and I
don't
can
look-
make out strips of skin between his teeth.
Oh, bit his own something or other, or bit them.
You can see by his expression that he suffered.
His mouth is covered.
His chest has been lacerated, I would say, with a very sharp and fine blade. You can see by his expression.
His mouth.
His feet have been burned.
My first impression is that he wears a size 9 shoe.
There's a finger
You!
down there.
But what does it matter, Holmes?
A finger. Apparently it doesn't belong to the Bishop of Knightsbridge.
Oh,
How dreadful.
bottle there. A rope.
A piece of rope that was used to tie up that poor man.
Pick this bottle up. Doesn't seem like it. Why is that blue and that blue and that's green?
You can see by his expression that he suffered terribly.
His mouth is covered in blood.
Can I examine stuff? Inventory I can't examine. Conundrum.
Something is missing here.
Oh, yes? And what might that be?
His shoes. Watson, his shoes are missing.
A broken bottle of whiskey. However, the Bishop of Knightsbridge was known for his sobriety.
There is blood on this paperweight. This paperweight was used to crush the victim's fingers. A bottle of whiskey. I can make out fingerprints stained with blood and dirt.
It would seem that the brutes who tortured the bishop to death were intoxicated with alcohol.
There is blood.
Blood on the chair as well. It's good you can go in and out of modes.
The picture of Peregrine Maitland, commander of the infantry brigade of Her Majesty's Guards at Waterloo.
The Bishop of Knightsbridge has the same name as his ancestor, an illustrious family.
Ah. Safe. Inspect.
I am missing some information. Impossible to open it. Impossible to open it.
Gotta put pegs in the holes, I would imagine.
Reverend, I'm missing something, an implement with which to open this chest. Could you tell me where to find it?
No! Go to the devil!
What are you afraid of, Reverend? What is inside the chest?
I'm not afraid of anything. In fact, I do have the necessary implements, but if I have to give them to anyone, it will be to a representative of the law and no one else.
This stove is filled to overflowing. This door has not been forced. Where does it lead, Reverend?
To His Excellency's room. There is just a mattress and a stool.
The bishop's bedroom. It is very austere. Nothing in particular here.
Some kind of peg there. Yeah, a little peg. A lot in here.
The bishop's bedroom.
Why would that pin be there?
It is impossible to get out. Closed. The veranda door hasn't been forced. Strange. Reverend, might I have the key?
No! You have no authority here. Let me call the police.
Perhaps we should listen to him, Holmes.
Perhaps you should let me get on with this, Watson. Closed.
A surgical scalpel covered in blood. There isn't any doubt. The wounds on the bishop were administered with this scalpel.
Watch where you're putting your feet, Watson. Have you noticed these prints upon the ground?
Well, yes, those muddy marks.
See here, Watson. Footprints can often provide more vital information than the very best of informants.
Yes, if you know how to make them talk, that is.
It's child's play, Watson. We will begin by excluding the contaminating prints, which are yours and mine from where we came in, and those of our dear Reverend who was so impatient to call the police.
How many criminals were there?
Size 9. Size 9. Size 9. Size 9.5. Size 9. Size 9.5.
So how many 9s was it then?
Size 9.
1 9.
Size 9.
2 9s with different footprints.
Size 9. Size 9.5.
2 9s, that's a 9.
Size 9.5.
1 9.5, 2 9s.
Size 9.
So that's different.
Nothing of interest here.
Three.
Perfect. We now know that there were 3 crooks.
One man joined those who were already in the room. Jumping on one leg. Oh no, that's got me. That's heavier, isn't it? Yeah, it's different. Size 9, one's 9.5. Different shoes.
That's not right. Start again. That's not right. Strange but true. One of the crooks was wearing a different pair of shoes when he left here. Therefore, we have 3 men who came in and left again, but one of them was wearing a different pair of shoes from the ones which he came in with.
So, all we have to do is look for a workman who likes Italian shoes.
Why Italian?
You have no right to search here.
So all we have to do is look for workmen who likes Italian shoes. What's that?
A broken file and blood near the neck.
What a strange smell. Phew. Chemical components, I think.
What's that bit of rope? What's that bit of rope in the corner for? Oh, we've already done that. He's got the implement to get into the safe.
I am missing some information.
Done that.
This stove is filled to overflowing.
What What's in it? Body parts.
This stove is filled to overflowing.
It's a bottle there, or whatever it is. Oh, it's a cork stop. And a bottle of whiskey. Can't use this on that or that on this. No, don't do that again.
I cannot leave now.
You have no right to search here.
What should we do next, Holmes?
You have no right to search here.
This stove is filled to overflowing.
Yes, but what is it filled to overflowing? Can't go out there. Can't shut the door. Got nothing on the table. That's an old left chest. Yeah, we know that.
The bishop's bedroom. It is very austere. Nothing in particular here. His forearms have been ripped. Pieces of skin have been torn off. What do you think, Watson?
I'd say that he was eaten alive. Yet I've noticed a curious degeneration of the skin tissue around the wounds.
My dear friend, everything points to this man having gnawed at his own forearms.
That's unbelievable, Holmes.
So he must have been there a while. I've seen finger broken.
The fingers have been crushed and violently.
We know that. Missing teeth.
You can see by his expression that he suffered terribly.
His mouth is covered in blood, and I can make out strips of skin between his teeth.
Nothing else to click on. Desk. So if he's like that, he must have heard some squealing, mustn't he? Ah, pins, look. Pins. This menu is not available. What is that menu? There's some definite pins there. There was one in the bed. Can't select them. Aha, what's going on here?
This metal rod is for fastening the chalice.
Fastening the what?
It's a cilice designed to bruise the person wearing it. The bishop wore it as repentance.
A whip?
No, it is a discipline for self-flagellation. This very pious man must have had the habit of mortifying his flesh as a means of repentance.
That's why he chewed himself.
It's a cilice designed to bruise.
Right.
I am missing some information.
I thought those pins would go in there in a certain sequence and then unlock it. Oh. Whoa. That's the second time I've locked up. The game's locked up and I've not been able to move. So, it's quite enjoyable. On Steam cheap. Sherlock Holmes. I'm not sure what to do now. Got to get this twit to talk. Interesting game. You'll see what happens in the next instalment. Whether it's thrilling or not, I don't know, but it's interesting. Is this Colin Dexter? Yeah, that's what I thought originally. I don't think it is. I thought he's based on Colin Dexter.
What do you think, Holmes?
So he's not the same thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Meganikai signing off for this first playthrough of Sherlock Holmes, or Testament of Sherlock Holmes. Cheers, guys.